The countdown to the Breeders' Cup, St. Patrick's Day is coming, and the Reforest 5K. Welcome to Lexington Now. It's the week of March 9th, 2020. I'm your host, Neil Noah. The Breeders' Cup is coming back to Lexington later this year, and an announcement was made about the countdown to one of horse racing's premier events.
We all know that this November, Lexington will once again step into the international spotlight. The Breeders' Cup, where true world champions are crowned, is coming back to town on November 6th and 7th. You may recall there was a little skepticism in the run-up to the 2015 Breeders' Cup over whether we were big enough to host it. Well, of course, Lexington exceeded expectations. Our city and Keeneland stepped up in a big way. There was record-setting attendance and an estimated $65 million economic impact. We earned high praise from the leadership of the Breeders' Cup and from people involved in horse racing around the world. Our challenge is to make 2020 even better. I know we can do it.
The Breeders' Cup is coming home. We are very, very excited to be back in Lexington, Kentucky, and the world is coming. So we can't thank enough the city, the mayor, Keeneland, who's been a wonderful partner for many, many years to pull off the World Championships. This coming Monday, tickets will be available starting at 9 o'clock. There is significant demand based on the resounding success from the last time we were here. So the best place to get tickets would be at www.breederscup.com, and we appreciate your patience in advance because there will be queues, but again, it's worth the wait. So we can't thank everybody enough. We are so excited to be here. We've gotten remarks from around the globe, and the world is coming back to Lexington, Kentucky, thanks to everybody's efforts the last time we were here. So thank you very much.
Drew, and to the Breeders' Cup, welcome back. It was a tremendous event in 2015, and since that time, since the American Pharaoh crossed the finish line with the first, to be able to have the Grand Slam, people all around the world have been asking me, and when's it coming back, and making comments about our community and the community partners and how much they enjoyed being in Lexington. And we kept telling them, it's going to come back, it's going to come back, and now, if the community really needs to take great pride in what was accomplished in 2015 and the great anticipation that horse people and horse fans and people who loved this community, how much they're looking forward to the ones getting back in town and to do it again. Mayor, we are going to do it again. In 2015, I've laughed that we figured out how to do it. It's going to be a whole lot more fun to figure out how to do it better, which is what we've been working on. With the Breeders' Cup, we're investing $10 million in ancillary facilities and accommodations to take care of our many fans when they're coming into town. And once again, with all of our great community partners, the new hotels, the restaurants, the vibrancy of this community just is second to none. And all I can say is thank you, Mayor, for all your support that you've had over these many years, and I want to thank this community for everything that this community means, the pride that we all take in our signature industry and in all this 30 miles around us for these beautiful farms and these horses that are world-renowned and that this community is so well known for. So this is because of all those great relationships and partnerships that it has been a success, and it is going going to be even better in 2020. Thank you.
Just as we're looking forward to the races, we're also excited about the Breeders' Cup Festival, where we will celebrate our city's historic connection to the international thoroughbred community. Kip Cornett is heading up the festival, as he did in 2015. Unfortunately, he couldn't be with us today, but I know he will put on another great week for our guests and our local citizens. I also want to thank CHI St. Joseph Health, which once again will be one of the main sponsors of the festival. So let's get going. We've got 80 countdown clocks, just like the one that you're going to see in a moment, and you'll be able to find them all over town. So November 6th is just under 245 days away. Let the countdown begin. Ready?
Ready?
All right. 1, 2, 3.
St. Patrick's Day is right around the corner, and we've got a preview of this year's St. Patrick's Day Parade and Festival.
The 41st All-Tech St. Patrick's Day Parade and Festival is going on March 14th. The festival is at the Robert F. Stevens Courthouse. The festival starts at 10:45 with the blessing of the All-Tech keg. Father Norman and our lovely bishop will be there to do that for us, and then there will be bagpipers, and the stage performances will start at 11 o'clock with Irish dancers, wonderful local bands. We'll also have the Wolf Tones coming in at 3 o'clock to play. They're a very famous Irish band. Everybody will know most of the songs and sing along to the Wolf Tones. There will be local vendors, there will be food, fish and chips. There will be All-Tech will serve beer, West 6 will be there serving beer, there'll be Guinness and Harp. Everything to make a party and a festival happen. So please join us, come on down, it'll be fun for the whole family. The parade is 1 to 2. This year we have Deirdre Lyons, which is going to be a well-deserved Grand Marshal. Bill Enright started the parade 41 years ago in Lexington when the Irish community was not as big as it is today, and it's just grown bigger and bigger and stronger and stronger. And the festival started over 10 years ago. Thank you so much to our sponsors. This would not be possible without you. For All-Tech, the number one has been there since the beginning of the festival. And also to Ashford Stud, Lexington Equine Medical Group. So come out, have fun, and enjoy the day, and hopefully we'll have nice weather. And if not, it's underneath tents, so don't worry about a little bit of rain.
For more information, visit lexingtonstpatsparade.org. When we come back, the Reforest 5K.
Community engagement through the arts is a class that's designed to make artwork with, in, and for the community. By with the community, we work collaboratively with children at Common Good and Arlington Elementary and Sayre School and a bunch of different spaces around the city. In the community, we make art and we do workshops and have lectures off of campus. And for the community, we do everything we can to give the artwork that we create back to the neighborhood in some fashion.
So the title of this project is If the Earth Could Text, which our students came up with. Why emoji? Because they're universal language. You don't need words, specific words, specific languages. People recognize what emoji mean. And so the idea was to create three-dimensional emoji that are connected to environmental issues and highlight them, draw attention to them. Everyone in the class is designing one emoji or has designed one emoji. The bird was the first one, and what we wanted to highlight is the fact that in the last 50 years, the bird population of North America has decreased by 30%. Some of the other shapes are fish, so a fish that looks alive and a fish that's a skeleton of a fish. And that is drawing attention to the pollution of seas and oceans. At the end of the semester, we'll create statements which hopefully will convey meaning to folks who come out and see them. The projects of our class are always, we think they're the most successful when we work with a number of community partners. And this year, our main community partners are Live Green Lexington and Create Now Makerspace.
Hi, my name is Ryan Geider. I work for Independence Place. It's a center for independent living, and we provide 5 core services for people with disabilities to help them live independently in the community. And I also serve on the Mayor's Commission for People with Disabilities in Lexington, Kentucky. And I'm here today to remind people not to park on sidewalks because it blocks access to people who use wheelchairs like myself, and also all pedestrians that need to use access to the sidewalks. It creates a barrier that makes people have to enter into the roadway into dangerous situations to go around cars. So if you could please remember, don't park on sidewalks and block pedestrians' access. On behalf of Independence Place and the Mayor's Commission for People with Disabilities, thank you.
Welcome back to Lexington Now. Live Green Lexington is hosting the second annual Reforest 5K at Heisel Park. Heather Wilson and Chrissy Toon tell us all about it.
This is the second year for the Heisel 5K, sponsored by John's Run Walk Shop. And John's is graciously doing this as part of their contribution to Reforest the Bluegrass, the bigger picture there. Last year was our first year. They did a course out here around the mowed path. It's a 5K. It's happening on March 21st. Starts at 8 in the morning. And you get to run out in this beautiful park that was a farm not too long ago that was deeded to the city of Lexington. Last year, part of that, all the racers had the opportunity to plant tree seedling. Behind me here is Reforest the Bluegrass site that we did in 2016, I believe it is. And then we planted back into that again with John's Run Walk Shop seedlings last year. This year they had the opportunity to plant in that space again if they would like to, or they also had the opportunity to take a seedling home instead. And this is really part of our broader reach to try to put more trees out through our city.
It's open to runners and walkers of all paces, and you're welcome to bring your dog and to walk or run along with you as well, as long as they're on a leash. And it's a really cool race because people have the opportunity to, after they participate, to kind of give back and plant a tree here on site or take it to their home.
We're planting all native Kentucky tree species. They have been purchased from the Division of Forestry. So all of our trees that we're planting are grown in Kentucky, which is really important for us for making sure that we keep our native trees here. They're seeded here and they grow here. We're planting shagbark hickory, shoe-marred oak, Kentucky coffee tree, sycamore, a shrubby dogwood. It's not the flowering dogwood that we're all familiar with. It's one that's a little bit hardier in our area, and persimmon, which is a fruiting variety tree out here.
You can pre-register online, or if you'd like to wait and see what the weather is like, you can make a game time decision and register up until 20 minutes before the race. There's also the opportunity, as well as the race, to kind of get some educational information about trees here in Lexington. Heather will be here with a booth called Ask an Arborist. So if you have any questions about what kind of trees are good for your yard or how should you be mulching, she can help with those.
I think the bigger picture is that John's wants to put an environmental impact viewpoint maybe out there, you know, that piece of putting trees out into our community and all the benefits the trees give to us, and how John's is really appreciative of that and wants to make that as part of their legacy is my take on it. Runners run in all kinds of different situations, whether it's turf mowed areas or trails or the pavement, but there's something really nice about running where it's tree covered. You get shade when it's really hot out, or else you get windbreaks when you're running through those cold weather. Right here we have pretty much open grassland. Part of Parks' plans for that is to maintain parts of this as open grassland for bird species, but other parts is to have it become a forest system for us. And so that's part of this. The really cool thing about this, I think, is that we have Reforest the Bluegrass seedlings in there, which are a couple years old. But then we also have now successional tree planting, so we'll have a multi-age forest out here, which is a really, really great thing.
You can sign up on our website at lexingtonky.gov. March is Severe Storms Preparedness Month. John Bobel of Emergency Management tells us how to prepare for severe weather.
There are some things we want people to remember about being prepared for severe weather. The first thing is we want people to be aware. It's very easy these days when you have a smartphone or a cell phone and you get text messages from just about anyone. But severe weather preparedness means you need to have at least 3 places where you're going to get severe weather information. Make sure you keep that phone of yours charged at all times. And it's a good idea to also buy an auxiliary battery pack. So if you're in a place where the power goes out and you need to rely on your cell phone, you can at least keep it charged a couple of times with that auxiliary battery pack. The most important thing, though, is to have a NOAA weather radio. It's very easy these days to forget that the NOAA weather radio is the most important appliance in your house next to a smoke or fire alarm. The NOAA weather radios, they're about $30, and they can be programmed so that they only set off alarms and alerts if there's severe weather here in Fayette County. Severe weather just doesn't happen during the day. A lot of people are seriously injured or even killed from severe weather and tornadoes that happen overnight. Your cell phone may not be loud enough. You may not even keep your cell phone in the bedroom with you. It may be in a charging stand somewhere else. But a NOAA weather radio in your bedroom or someplace where everybody can hear it when it goes off, it can make the difference between life and death for severe storms. Also, we encourage people to sign up for our new Lex Alert system. You can go to BeReadyLexington.com. That's the emergency management website for Fayette County. Check out the sign-up information form on the BeReadyLexington.com website for Lex Alerts, and you'll be able to sign up for the extreme severe weather alerts and warnings. The next thing we want people to remember is it's important to make a family emergency plan. And that can be an individual plan. If you're single or live in a group environment with a couple of roommates, doesn't really matter. You really need to have a plan so that people can stay safe during emergencies. Everybody should have an out-of-town emergency contact. That's somebody you know. It could be a friend, a relative, someone who has a good telephone or mobile phone connection. First of all, you need to let them know that they're your emergency contact. So in case of an emergency, you contact them out of town with a text message or a phone call to let other people know that you're okay. Family members, friends can call your out-of-town emergency contact and they know that everything's okay. The next thing to do in your emergency plan is to make copies of important documents. They may be your driver's license, your birth certificate, other important documents, court documents, insurance papers. Make copies of those and save them ideally to the cloud or some other sort of storage drive. If you have to leave home or where those documents are originally stored, you can get copies of them. So if you come back and need those documents, you can easily get hold of them. Worst case scenario, you could be digging through rubble. If it's a fire, they could be destroyed. But if you have copies of those in a safe place, you'll always have access to them. The next thing we want people to do is to build an emergency kit. Ideally, you should have an emergency kit for where you live, where you work, and whatever type of transportation you have, a car, a truck, a van. Each one of those areas should have its own emergency kit. For home, make sure your emergency kit has a first aid kit in it. That's very important. A battery-operated AM/FM radio, also a good thing to have. Flashlights with extra batteries so that if the power goes out, you have a way to see in the dark. At least 3 days worth of food and water, so that if for some reason you can't get out of your home, if it's a blizzard or some other type of storm that prevents you from getting out, that you can be self-sufficient for at least 72 hours, at least 3 days. Finally, we want people to get involved with being prepared for emergencies. Take a class in first aid or CPR. Here at Emergency Management, we have our Community Emergency Response Team. They take 9 weeks worth of classes where they learn some advanced first aid, some fire and rescue. They learn about firefighting. They learn how to organize in a neighborhood in case of an emergency, because it's important to know that if we were to have a tornado or other violent storm here in Lexington, firefighters would not necessarily be able to reach all the neighborhoods at the same time. It could take several hours. It could take a day or two. It's important that people have the supplies and the know-how to take care of each other. It's also important that you know your neighbors, know your friends, Know people who may need a little extra help during an emergency or a power outage, so that if you know them now, you can reach out. Because that's important. Lexington's a very caring community. We've seen that time and time again during the ice storms and other accidents. So it's important that you remember to be aware, make a plan, build a kit, stay informed, and learn a little bit about emergency preparedness.
You can learn more at BeReadyLexington.com. There's a lot going on at City Hall this week, and here's a look at our televised meeting schedule. With the recent news of COVID-19 reaching our area, the Urban County government has set up a website with the most up-to-date information on the city's and other organizations' responses. The website is updated frequently, and Lex TV will be bringing you any breaking news as it happens through the city's official live press updates. That's all for this week, but as always, you can keep up with us on social media, check out the latest traffic updates on Twitter at LexRex, or catch our live traffic cams on LexingtonKY.gov. For all of us at Lex TV, I'm Neil Noah, and that's it for now.